Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been months. I can hardly believe that it's November. I had set a goal of reading 100 books for myself for the year, and I am on track. Like, honestly, I've done good. Mostly this summer really helped me out because I read a lot in like May and June. And so right now we're doing a little bit of catch up because I've been a little bit slower these last couple of months. So I am at 92 books. I need to read 8. So I thought to give myself a little bit of motivation, I would jump on board the 10 before the end bandwagon and make one of those for today. So that's what I'm going to be going over. I have a stack of some physical books. I am trying to get through my physical TBR because I have too many books. I can't stop buying them. And this is not a new problem. This is not unique. It's just fun and dopamine. Anyways, so I kind of wanted to get into the books, and I want to give a little bit of the reasoning as to why I selected some of these books. I'm going to start out with what I'm currently reading, and that is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I do have the Penguin Classics edition, the original 1818 text. I have been annotating quite a bit for this one. I am just actually starting volume 3, so I don't have that much left, but I really want to finish it before I see the new Guillermo del Toro movie. So my friend Kelsey and I are reading this. This is my first time ever reading it. One of my like self-image inner things I'm trying to get through is, or just do better at, is telling myself that I'm not smart enough to read classic books, because I think that's something that got ingrained in me when I was like in school, because I didn't love reading when I was in like middle school, high school. And so reading classics, I got like this negative taste in my mouth about it. Like I didn't understand what the hell we were talking about. Like that has carried on with me into adulthood, that belief about myself. So I've been really trying to overcome that. And I even caught myself with the first chapter of this. I texted my friend and was like, I think I'm too stupid to read this. And I was like, wait, no. You need to just like be in the right mood. So I have really been enjoying it. I have been relatively hooked on it, just not had a lot of time. So this will be what I finish next, but I did want to put this on here because this is just part of what I'm trying to do more of. As you all know, I love horror. Obviously, that's the whole point of this channel, but I'm really wanting to learn more and understand more about horror and why I like what I like and where it all kind of comes from. And so one of the things I've been kind of working on in my own time is my personal curriculum. And right now I'm trying really hard to learn more about Gothic lit and how Gothic lit impacted like the horror themes that I know I'm obsessed with today. So this was kind of the beginning of that journey, and you're going to probably see a few other titles in the stack that fall into that same category. So yeah, book number one, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Moving into a little bit more modern horror, I do have The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I have been putting this one off for a while just because I keep picking it up and I'm like, I want to read this, and then I end up reading something else. Like I don't understand. I've like picked it up and put it by my bed several times. So yeah, really excited to read this. A tale of revenge, cultural identity, and the cost of breaking from tradition in this latest novel from the Jordan Peele of horror literature, valid, Stephen Graham Jones. Seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary. I love horror with social commentary. I think it's my favorite trope. The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on revenge, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up with them in a violent, vengeful way. I've only seen positive reviews of this book, so very excited about that one. Excited to dive in. This would be my first Stephen Graham Jones book, and usually once I read one good book by an author, you know I'm gonna have to read all the rest of them. Okay, moving on. This was one that I was so anticipating it. Like I was so excited about this book coming out. What do you mean? It's a horror book about it's like a slasher at a retirement home. I'm obsessed. I'm literally obsessed. Philip Fracassi also wrote Boys in the Valley, and I loved that book. I ate it up. I read it in like a day, and so I really enjoyed that. So I do think I will also enjoy this. I did like his like writing style. God, that book was, talk about fucking devastating. But just kind of giving you a little synopsis. Rose is in her late 70s, living out her golden years at the Autumn Springs retirement home. When one of her friends dies alone in her apartment, Rose isn't too concerned. Accidents happen, especially at this age. Then another resident drops dead. And another. With bodies stacking up, Rose can't help but wonder, are these accidents, old age, or something far more sinister? Together with her best friend Miller, Rose begins to investigate. The further she digs, the more convinced she becomes there's a killer on the loose at Autumn Springs, and if Rose isn't careful, she may be the next victim. So I actually picked this up on release day, and I still haven't read it, but I'm stoked because I really like this author. Yeah, it sounds great. The next book I am very eager to read is Return to the Black Farm, which is the book that comes just after The Black Farm. It is a very dark, very extreme horror book. The first one was, so I'm assuming this one will be as well. The first book is about a couple who loses a child, and then they decide to commit suicide together. Only it doesn't put them out of pain, it puts them in the Black Farm. And so it's just about their like really horrific time there trying to get out. And so the second book, Return to the Black Farm, is kind of wrapping up that story. And this one actually had better reviews than the first one, and I loved the first one. It was very, very extreme though, so please, if you have certain triggers, please check the trigger warnings because it's probably touched on in that book. So just something to keep in mind. There's some dark shit in these books, but I really enjoyed it. Real gross, real gory, real nasty. So I'm excited to kind of dive back into that horrific world. Circling back to my conversation about trying to read more Gothic lit, there is another author. She's considered more to be modern Gothic literature, and that is Shelley Jackson. I actually just picked this book up. So there is this sushi spot in downtown that my husband and I frequent, and it is right next door to my favorite local bookshop. You can probably guess where this is going. Every time we get sushi, I say, oh, let's pop over and get me a sushi book. And so whenever we get sushi, I also get a book. So this was my most recent purchase. Also, it's just stunning. I just love the artwork on this. Very excited to dive into it. I don't know a ton, and I think that's okay. It is a little bit shorter, so there are going to be some shorter books on here because again, have not been reading as much, so I wanted to make it a realistic 10 before the end. But it's from the perspective, I believe, of a child. My name is Mary Catherine Blackwood. I am 18 years old and I live with my sister Constance. I have often thought that with any luck at all, I could have been born a werewolf because the two middle fingers on both my hands are the same length, but I have had to be content with what I had. I dislike washing myself and dogs and noise. I like my sister Constance and Richard and Amnita, the death cup mushroom. Everyone else in my family is dead. So I truthfully have no idea what this is about. I also really want to read Haunting of Hill House, but I have watched that show over and over. Sometimes I don't like going like in the reverse. Like I always want to read the book before I watch the movie. Anyways, excited to read that. Last physical book that I have is not really considered Gothic. I believe it is just considered horror, but it is in kind of like the same vibe, and that is The Starving Saints. This was also a very highly anticipated read for me this year. I just have not gotten to it. It is about, I believe, a convent. Let's double check here. A castle. So it's not a convent, it's just a castle. Imar Castle has been under siege for 6 months. Food is running low and there has been no sign of rescue. But as the survivors consider deliberately thinning their numbers, the castle stores are replenished, the sick are healed, and the divine figures of the Constant Lady and her saints have arrived, despite the barricaded gates offering a succor in return for devotion. Soon the entire castle is under the sway of their saviors, partaking in intoxicating feasts of terrible origin. The war hero Servoine gives her allegiance to the Constant Lady. Faucine, there's some interesting names. Faucine, a disorganized, paranoid nun turned sorceress. I knew there were nuns. Nun turned sorceress, though, that's like my dream job. No, it's not. That just sounds cool. I don't want to be a nun. No, I couldn't be a nun. Nun turned sorceress races to unravel the mystery of these new visitors and exonerate her experiments as their source. In the bowels of the castle, a serving girl, Trelia, is torn between her thirst for a secret vengeance and the desperate need to escape the horrors that are unfolding within the walls. As the castle descends into Bacchanalian madness, forgetting the massed army beyond its walls in favor of hedonistic ecstasy, these three women are the only ones to still see their situation for what it is. But they are not immune to the temptations of the castle's new masters, or each other, and their shifting alliances and entangled pasts bring violence to the surface. Saving the castle and themselves will take a reimagining of who they are and a reorganization of the world itself. So yeah, that's the physical TBR. So the next book I actually have alone at the library. I just need to go pick it up, and that is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. It was recommended. I found it on a list of good like classic books to read if you're trying to learn more about the Gothic genre, and I am, and this was the first one that came in from the library. So that's why it's on the list. I don't know a ton about it. I will probably do a reading vlog on it. But I'm looking forward to reading it. I just like, I'm excited to, we all need our brain rot books, right? Like every now and then I need to read a real smutty poorly written novel. Like that's every now and then that's what you need, or like a real just like campy slasher novel. Like every now and then you need those things, but I'm trying to have it not be the only thing that I read. Hence The Woman in White. The next book on my 10 Before the End is The Vampire by John William Polidori. It was written as part of like a contest between a group of authors, including Mary Shelley and Lord Byron. And the book that Mary Shelley wrote at the time for this contest, while they were like all on this trip together, was Frankenstein. So I just think that's really sick. So I want to read both of these like collective works like around the same time. I just think that's a very like, I'm a history nerd. I went to school for history. I don't have a job in history now, but every now and then that history nerd sneaks out, just sneaks out of the cracks. So I'm looking forward to reading that. It is one of the earliest written pieces of fiction about vampires. Obviously vampires go years and years back prior to this as well within like folklore, but it is an influential piece of vampire literature. So I am very much looking forward to reading that. Hopefully I enjoy it. Whenever I read classic vampire books, I'm like, please let me enjoy this, because vampires are like integral to my personality. It's true. They just are. I've always loved vampires. I was Dracula as a child. Not like a cute vampire. I was Dracula. I slicked my hair back. I wonder if I have a photo of that somewhere. If I do, I'll post it, I swear. But yeah, so that is another one that is on there. And then my last book is one remaining short story. It is considered Gothic, but it is also like a feminist book. And I love like feminist awakening books that are historical, like The Awakening, one of my favorite books of all time. And it's supposed to be in like kind of a similar vein to that. So it's called The Yellow Wallpaper. And it is about a woman who is ill, and her husband puts her in a room that has this hideous wallpaper to heal herself. Like basically like he traps her there, essentially is what it is. So it is about her slowly unraveling and losing her mind while she is in this room. She becomes very obsessed with the yellow wallpaper, starts to see things, but it's also very much like a social commentary on like the way women were treated at the time that the author wrote it. So I am very excited to read that. I love a good like feminist piece of writing. I just chef's kiss. So those are my 10 before the end. One of the things I posted on the community page was that I am trying to do this 90-day challenge. Now that is not me posting every day for 90 days. It is me getting back on board and into making my content. And so filming this was the start. I am going to be trying to release 1 to 2 videos a week for the next 4 or 5 weeks. So we're aiming for 2, but there's flexibility because I'm going to do it for 5 weeks. And so that is the goal for now. So this is my like hold me accountable. You'll probably see some reading vlogs or recaps of some of the books that we talked about, also for accountability. Okay, so we're here to hold each other accountable. So what I want from you is in the comments, tell me what your 10 before the end are. Where are you at in your reading goal? I'm like very proud of myself. This is the most number of books I have ever read in a year. I think the second highest year was like 50 books, which is still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but 100 books, I said that was like a stretch goal for me. And then I did it. So it's been so fun. Like I love reading. Reading is like such a fucking sick hobby. That's so stupid to say, but like it really is. Like I started the year out reading a ton of fantasy and romantasy. Then I was like reading dark romance. Love it. Then I read like a YA thriller and I was like, ooh, I want to read more spooky books. And then I read some horror. And then I've just been like deep diving into horror. Then I read like the Bridge Kingdom series somewhere sprinkled in there. Like reading is just such a cool way to get to explore your interests and like try something new. And you might read something new and then you like hate it. And that's cool. Then you know you don't got to go back. But like I love that reading is so subjective. There is truly something for everyone. And if you don't think you're smart enough for reading or you don't think you enjoy it, you just haven't given it a try. I stand by that. That's my hot take of the day. But yeah, so this is my list. I will see you next time. Okay, love you. Bye.